Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you very much, Colegio San Agustin-Bacolod, especially to the Eagle publication for inviting me to speak before you today. And I hope that you're all well wherever you may be. So the title of my presentation is about maximizing online platform on campus press. So my experience working in the campus press is not necessarily being the um, say editorial staff during my college days, but it was actually still in high school. I opted to join the student government instead of the campus press during my tertiary education. So I hope that I will be able to satisfy your expectations with this presentation, as what I will be sharing with you is actually based on my experience working with the external relations at the University of San Agustin. So I will be sharing with you my slides now. Okay. So I hope you're able to see that. Okay. Okay. The first information or tip that I have to give you is about improving your numbers. So, in the online world where there is so much content and where everyone is a content creator, while content is king, sorry. Okay, so while content is king, numbers are very important. But what do I mean when I say numbers are very important? What I mean is increasing the number of your followers and likers. So the default algorithm of Facebook is that it only shows to say around 2% of your organic followers and your in your regular posts. So this means if you have about 3,400 followers, I checked on the data of the Eagle publication. So if you have about 3,400 followers or likers in your Facebook account, the usual number of people who Facebook will be showing your post is just about 70. So come to think of those 70 if they will not be interested in your post. So the effort is put to waste, unfortunately. So the battle then is not about how well your post was prepared, but it's about how many will be able to see it. And if you're seeing this slide, it will show you here the progression of the liker. So this is actually the actual page that I am managing. So if you can see that we were just around 40,000 in 2019, but in 2021 it seems that we are about to reach the 70%. I mean the 70,000 number of followers God permits. Um, and you might ask why, how to do that. So in the other side of the presentation, you would see the liked, invited. So every time you're able to capture, say, a person to like in one of your posts, so make sure that you try to invite the person to actually like the page. So it's only then if you're not willing to spend money to earn likers or followers, you have to do the manual labor of inviting people to like your page. Okay. The next is you have to ask yourself what and who are your sources. So there will be times when your dilemma is you don't have anything to share with your audience, especially now that we're in the middle of a pandemic. Nothing's really going on around. Okay, so you ask yourself what and who are the possible sources of information. And if you're a campus press, you should begin asking yourself, What do students expect of the Eagle as a publication to do to them? Of course, they don't expect you to be copycats of the Philippine Star, Manila Bulletin, or Panay News, Rappler, the Daily Guardian, etc. They expect you to deliver news about the school, relevant information that has direct impact on them as students. So you can then interview the student government chairperson as to what activities should they expect at this time, say in the first semester or whole year round if possible. Okay, so as a Catholic school, the campus ministry might have important announcements as well. The student affairs for student achievements or upcoming institutional activities. And your community engagement office might have activities that replicate community pantries, or they might have initiated worthwhile activities. So you are not stopped from contextualizing national and local news for your academic community. Next point is please do consider e-publishing. I actually stalked your page and I saw that you were able to also do that. But in case to those who are joiners in this webinar who have not tried e-publishing before, so you might want to go for it. So it might be a bit impractical at the moment to insist on producing hard copies of your articles and poems. So if you're not doing it yet, you should consider doing e-publishing. So this will immortalize your work and it can later serve as your online portfolio, and that will be accessible to your future employers. So if especially if you have the QR code, you can indicate that and make it scannable for the future use. So you can even reach not only to the current population of your school and like before, but you can reach to as many since you need not spend for printing. And sometimes that's the very limitation of a campus press, the lack of budget. Even if you want to go like reach for a lot of people, you're limited by the amount of money that's allocated for this purpose. So you just need to ensure now that the people you're giving copies with, you have their correct email addresses. And your e-published material is appealing enough for people to take interest in reading the content. Next point, very important, is what we call as branding. So not because you're a campus press, you are exempted for doing this. So branding, I know you're not selling something, but you're selling news to students. And that is somehow without a cost because that's directly, paid through their tuition and miscellaneous. So branding is about consistency and promotion of the ideals and identity of your brand as you are representing. So as a campus press, you have several important things to consider. Number one, being a campus press. Second, an Augustinian educational institution. And being from Negros Occidental. So from there, you derive how should you be presenting yourself online that once people see whatever you post, they will automatically know that it's you. So that could be your color. In this case, that's really color. And the use of logo, perhaps the language, hashtag, your style, among others. So if you have not fully embraced branding as a campus press, you should think of ways on how to establish this by now. So it's not only you as the editor in chief who will decide on this, but you have to gather the team and consult your moderator and perhaps have other alumni of your media organization to sit with you and decide on this very important matter as this will impact not only your batch of editorial staff but those who are in the future. Next is dehumanize your brand. So you might say that, well, ma'am, this is really about marketing. But yes, In the online world, for us to thrive, we really have to do a lot of marketing. Even in our Facebook profiles, we have to do a lot of that. We have to carry ourselves very well. So, what is humanizing one's brand or organization all about? So, this is about you being interactive with those who can be hooked in your post. So that's trying to react to their comments and, their shares, or even responding to their queries in the comment section. And this also means replying to questions that they are raising via private message. So if you decide to have a social media presence, be sure that you have a dedicated personnel or say an assigned editorial staff who will interact as your brand. But please do make sure that the people interacting as the brand knows exactly what the organization stands for, among others. Next point, know your Pantone. So, to those of you who just encountered this word, a Pantone is a system for matching colors used in specifying printing inks. So, what is the relation of this to you, and how is this important? Knowing your Pantone means knowing what's the exact color that's identified with your brand. The illustration will show you how this is derived. So once you have identified yours, stick by it so that even if it's just the color that people will see, they will already associate that with you. So there are several ways of identifying your Pantone. So that could be directly pointing to the actual color and knowing what the code of that is, or identifying what's the percentage of cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. Okay. Next point, very basic. Use hashtags. So a hashtag is a word or phrase preceded by a hash sign, or what's most known to the previous generation as the number sign. So it is used on social media, websites, and applications, especially in the Twitter world, to identify digital content on a specific topic. So why is this important to you? The hashtag will give you a way of knowing how many people are joining the conversation you're starting in the digital world. So if it is a hashtag for a virtual event, you'd know somehow as to the impact of the activity among people, like how many are joining in. And if you're assigned to document an event, typing the hashtag will already reveal to you photos and takeaways of attendees in the event. So as a campus press, a hashtag is important for such could be a way for the student tree you're working for to get your attention, or perhaps to look into the matter that they're trying to convey. Next, should you share or should you post? This is a usual dilemma that social media managers encounter. My take on this is this: if you aim to reach for more audience between just sharing the information and posting it on your page, you choose to post. If you only do sharing, it is less likely to appear in the newsfeed of your audience, unless at least 3 of their friends have shared their content. However, if you do otherwise, you are sure to have an audience of 2% of your total audience. Next, you ask this question: what is it that your followers like and share? Maybe you have tried looking into this, but in case you have not, I actually did a screenshot of the actual page you have, and I saw that This is one of the most popular posts the Eagle publication has ever had. Okay, so this is a question that you should keep asking yourself if you are a digital content creator. If you know that posts such as these two, they are those that interest the majority of your audience page, or your page audience rather, it is just wise to continue posting similar content. So if you keep on posting content that is not of interest to your followers or is not relatable, do not expect that your page will gain more interaction that will be converted later on to followers or likers. Next point. This is really very important. You have to study your insights, but only those who are actually having a page role in your social media accounts have access to insights. So if you are that one, please listen carefully. So there is no book written yet that can assure you that you'll be able to improve your Facebook page, website, or other social media accounts after reading. So every social media page is unique. Your points for improvement can be taken from your page's insights. So be sure to review it so that you'd know where to work harder on. Unless you can understand what these numbers are and their impact to you, you can't identify what strategy to employ in the future. Okay, so you will see here like the actual page views, the actions on page, how many did like the page today. So you can actually like associate the insights that you get for today with the posts that you've had that day. And for the page summary, you can either have the one for today or say for the last 7 days or for the last 28 days so that you can have a comparison. Okay, next point. Timing is everything. So it's not a coincidence that your posts pick up every time it is in the afternoon. So there is a science behind it. Your page insights will provide you with a guide as to when is the best day and time for you to post if you want to reach as many audience as possible. So this data will help you predict the behavior of your audience, and it can guide you and the rest of those who are interested to post on your page as to when not to post as well. And if you can see this, if you're the ones managing this page, it will actually show you that um, the kind of day, if it's like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Sunday, that doesn't actually matter really on your page because your audience is consistent even if it's a weekday or a weekend. However, if you look closely in the graph below, you will see there at the very bottom the time of day. So most of those who are following your page actually look at it. If you can see that, that's from midnight, I mean early morning until about 9 a.m. But the peak, surprisingly, is around 6 a.m. So sometimes we think that students are not actually awake by that time. But showing this, I mean, looking at this graph, you would see that there are actually a lot of people are already awake at 6 and that they are actually in the page at that time. But as the social media manager of the University of San Agustin, I can associate this by the fact that we're actually holding daily masses. So that actually explains why there are a lot of people looking at the page at this time. And you see, it's not good to actually post between around 9 a.m. until 3 p.m., as there are only a very few people looking at the page at that time. Perhaps this is the time when students have classes, and so we presume that they are actually into their Zoom meetings or Google meetings, having their synchronous discussions. So perhaps the best time to post is around 3 p.m. until midnight. Okay. Next point, follow a social media calendar. So no one can beat anyone who is prepared. You must know when, what, who, and where to post. But you can only achieve this if you strictly adhere to a social media calendar that is shared among your group. So, other than determining the day when to publish something, you should also take note of national and local holidays, school holidays, important worldwide commemorations that are relevant to you as a campus press. So, you should also stick to a routine that you should come up with, say, at least 2 posts per week. Next, yes, please do diversify content. If you can see, these are actually screenshots from the Creator Studio, and this will show you that we actually have diverse content. So we would do like live videos. We also share photos with captions. We share links from the website. They are hosted from the website. We share posts from um, say specific departments from the university. And we also do just posting of, say, pure text. Okay. So, why is there a need to diversify content? One of the findings of my graduate thesis is that a photo with a caption best works for Facebook. So, as social media managers of Campus Press or any social media account for that matter, we should diversify content that we provide our audience. If you share videos every time, you will be predictable. So, it's when we're creative and coming up with content that we're able to attract people to follow our page and turn them eventually into fans or even top fans. Next is at this time, we must be ready or we must try holding live events. So, one of the ways to diversify content is to introduce live events utilizing webinars. In this case, maybe Zoom or Google Meet, or perhaps you do live via StreamYard or OBS. So, what we're doing at the moment is a perfect example of this strategy. So through this, we can enable participation among students as well as provide important information that are not just to them but to all of the page's followers. So if possible, you also ask the participants to comment so that the post's algorithm will improve. So that could be a strategy in case you're like holding a virtual event in your page and you require students to attend. Ask them to comment on the section, in the comment section, as that could be a way to improve your reach in terms of audience. Next point is join virtual conferences. So if there is any or there is an invitation that your media organization receives, maybe that's like coming from your research office, your social advocacy and community engagement office, or any program for that matter, maybe the student government, please do attend the virtual press conference. Other than this being a whole new experience and a skill for your editorial staff to acquire, you will learn about developments and important announcements made by the organizers. You should also equip yourself on how to organize one. So it's not necessarily that it's just you attending virtual press conferences, but you can also create one and let people experience how one is being done. Okay, next, publish excerpts from your upcoming or past publications. So should you encounter an issue of scarcity of content, you can always look into publishing excerpts from upcoming or past publications. You can as well provide them with a link to the full publication. So this way you can also improve the readership of your digital publications. And this could be also a strategy for people to look forward to your upcoming publication. Kumbaga, this can like serve as a teaser. Next, feature your writers or your contributors. So your writers or contributors may be inspirational figures to the student tree. So uploading their photos and their thoughts on matter might help you improve the reach and visibility of your page. You just imagine the number of their friends and family members who might share the digital feature about them. Okay, next. I also encourage you to boast about the achievements of your media organization for you to establish credibility. By posting the competitions that you as an organization have won or the individual achievements of your editorial staff, you're able to attract people to your page or campaign for future journalists to join you. And the most important one is that you establish credibility so that whatever you post in your page would be believable for the students, given that you're actually given accolades for the good work that you've done. Okay, another is you can hold writing or any related competition. So there are so many ways of thriving to be relevant in this pandemic, and one of which is holding related competitions that can inspire people to write stories and be creative at home. You can even engage people by including in your criteria for judging the number of say Facebook users that you can engage or like say like or comment or share the post. So that way you can increase in the popularity of the page that you're managing. Okay, next, you make news out of campus virtual events. So important pages that you have to follow are the Colegio San Agustin-Bacolod, your student council, your government, um, student council or student government, whatever you call that in your context, campus ministry, and the various colleges and departments belonging to Colegio San Agustin-Bacolod. So you should be able to derive important information from them and convert them into news articles for students' consumption. So maybe that would be all from my end, and I hope that I was able to shed some light to you as to how you can maximize the online platform now that we're in the middle of a pandemic and everything is really hard. You're not able to come to school and personally gather information. So maybe other than the points I've given you, it's also important to create a professional email address so that whenever you try to communicate with people who you want to feature or include in your news article, they would be more likely to respond to you as you are using a professional email address. So that would be for me, and I would be ready later to respond to your questions. Thank you very much.